It's shocking.
And now the university wants more potential victims to come forward.
An apology in the UAW corruption scandal.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry to the UAW membership.
How long this ex-official will spend in prison for taking kickbacks and bribes.
We're going to begin, though, with shocking new details in the murder of a 79-year-old woman. Off the top at 5 today, investigators now say that woman was beheaded by a member of her own family.
45-year-old Kenny McBride went before a judge today charged with murder and mutilation. The woman was found dead in her living room in Bedford Township earlier this week. Larry Spruill is live tonight. And Larry, this is a tough case for investigators.
A tough case indeed, Kimberly and Devin. Prosecutors are really trying to figure out why a man brutally murdered his own family member here inside this home in Bedford Township. Now, I have to warn you, the details of this case are graphic.
That was a pretty gruesome homicide. The head of the victim was removed.
Gruesome is really the only way Chief Assistant Prosecutor Jan Landis tells me he can describe this case. Landis says 45-year-old Kenny McBride is charged with murdering and beheading his own family member, 79-year-old Cecilia Gibson.
She would be his step-grandmother. So the suspect's father was married to the daughter of the victim.
Local 4, they were on scene Monday morning when police responded to this home on Lewis Avenue in Bedford Township. Our cameras rolling as family members learned what happened.
Hey! Get over here!
Landis tells me McBride was arrested Monday evening. He faced a judge Wednesday afternoon.
I would say that, as always, we hope the ends of justice are served, and we'll move toward that goal.
And that's what they are working on. We are also told that McBride was denied bond today. We're live in Bedford Township tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4 News.
Larry, any word on why? What's the motive and what happens now?
Yeah, and so Kimberly, that's really what prosecutors and police are trying to figure out. What happened? Why did this happen inside this home? He is due back in court on February 26th. Kimberly?
Yeah, we'll be following it. Okay. Larry, thanks.
University of Michigan is looking for potential victims of this man, Robert Anderson, a former doctor for the university and for the Michigan football team, now under investigation for multiple claims of sex abuse. Anderson actually died in 2008, but the allegations of abuse date back to the 1970s. Coco McAvoy live in Ann Arbor. Coco, a former student athlete, sparked this whole investigation.
Yes, that's right. The investigation started in July of 2018 after that former student reached out to the athletic director about the alleged sexual misconduct, and now university officials want others to come forward. Today, allegations of sexual misconduct sparking a U of M police investigation. The allegations surrounding Robert E. Anderson, a now deceased campus physician at the University of Michigan. Anderson was the former director of the University Health Service and an athletic team physician until 2003. During the investigation, dozens of people allegedly described sexual misconduct by Anderson, saying he would do, quote, unnecessary medical exams. The university is now urging former patients or students to come forward.
I think that students should come forward. If a professor or a faculty did anything to students, he should take accountability for it.
Tiffany Haywood is a senior at the University of Michigan. The news is unsettling for her.
It's shocking because a lot of these professors are great professors, so I'm shocked to hear that we have that here at U of M.
University officials say the majority of the alleged incidents took place in the 1970s, but there's at least one allegation reported from the 90s. An independent law firm is also conducting an investigation on behalf of the university to help handle the decades-old misconduct allegations. And the university did create a hotline for people to report the abuse, the alleged abuse, if they do have concerns. Of course, we'll put that link on our website, clickondetroit.com. Back to you.
Well, Coco, has the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office gotten involved in this yet?
Yes, they did. So they have conducted an investigation. We're told their investigation is now complete. But of course, that law firm is still continuing their investigation and wants people to come forward.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Coco. Well, Well, she's bundled up, and that's because it is chilly outside right now, but about to get even colder.
Yeah, Ben is here now. It could feel like it's in the single digits out there.
Some places tonight, guys, yeah, we're headed towards one of the coldest parts of the forecast, but our eyes are telling us one thing with that sunshine, and our fingers are telling us something else. Look at all these numbers right now below freezing. 31 in Metro is one of the warm spots, but a lot of 20s up here in the west and north zone. This is colder than it was yesterday by 7-10 degrees in some spots, and of course, we're going to continue getting colder tonight as not only the temperatures plunge, but the wind chills are going to make it feel like it's close to zero as we get started tomorrow morning. Mostly clear skies. Again, at night, that's not going to help us, but we will look at those wind chills in your 4-zone forecast and a pretty nice weekend ahead in just a few minutes, guys.
An apology today from a former UAW leader sentenced in the ongoing corruption scandal. Mike Grimes was sentenced to 2 years and 4 months in prison. The retired international executive assistant took a plea deal for taking kickbacks from a vendor. Business editor Rod Maloney was there as he faced the music and union members in court.
Michael Grimes has taken the most amount of money individually as a UAW leader in this UAW investigation. His attorney said, well, the money didn't necessarily come from UAW members' pockets, but the judge didn't agree with that and then went above the prosecution's recommendation in sending him to prison. The 66-year-old Grimes admits to taking more than $1.5 million in kickbacks from a union contractor. Now he's going to serve 28 months in federal prison. He made a long list of apologies outside the courthouse.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry to the UAW membership and to my family. I've had a strong history in the UAW. My family I was a third-generation GM UAW member. And I just want to apologize for what I did wrong. I want to ask God for forgiveness, and I want to ask the membership for forgiveness. I stepped up, admitted what I did, and my punishment is what it is, and I accept responsibility for it.
Now, the prosecutor's office originally wanted up to 4.5 years, but because Grimes cooperated with the investigation, they cut that to 24 months. But Judge Friedman wanted more prison time. In the courtroom, the judge allowed angry UAW family member Linda Ekstrom to speak.
There are a lot of hurt union members that have paid dues for a long time that are fractured now. They can say this is a victimless crime, but it's not.
Finally, Grimes' attorney Michael Manley sent an appeal to the federal government.
But I don't think that what has transpired with UAW rises to the level of the Teamsters being infiltrated by the mafia.
That's Manley lobbying to not have the feds take over the UAW. In the meantime, you'll recall this was all over what they called trash and trinkets, T-shirts, jackets, watches, pens that UAW members would buy in stores inside the plants. Judge Friedman said that he was greatly surprised at the notion that they weren't affected because they were the ones buying the goods, thus the 28 months. Back to you.
So what happens now, Rod? Does Grimes have to pay that money back?
Oh, yeah. In fact, he has to give up pretty much everything, cars, jewelry. He has to give up a house that he bought in Florida worth about $900,000, and he's going to be on a $1,500 a month payment plan into the future.
Yeah. Okay. Rod, thanks.
Now, a Local 4 update. We are learning more about the wild incident inside the Greektown Casino Hotel we reported yesterday. A search warrant was served for one of the rooms inside the hotel, and officers recovered more than 140 narcotic pills. 2 people remain in custody after hotel staff found an AK-47 in a bag hidden behind an ice machine on one of the upper floors of the hotel, but no charges thus far.
A Michigan man stranded overseas because of the coronavirus is finally expected to return home tonight. Steve Muth was on board the MS Westerdam when it docked in Cambodia after being rejected from multiple ports. One American on board the ship has tested positive for the coronavirus. Muth says he was tested before he left. It comes as hundreds more passengers are being allowed to leave the Diamond Princess cruise ship docked in Japan. More than 600 people were infected with the coronavirus after being quarantined on board there for 2 weeks.
It is the unofficial start of spring training for the Tigers.
Yeah, everybody is reported to Lakeland, including our own Bernie Smilovitz.
This is the day we all wait for, the Tigers' big barbecue down here in Lakeland, and we are here. Ron Gardenhire is going to join us live in a few minutes to talk about the team. He's going to talk about the Astros, and he's going to talk about how you sell a team that won 47 games last season. So Ron Gardenhire coming up at 5, and then come on back at 6 o'clock because Al Avila will also join us live here. So it's the Tigers Barbecue. We're in Lakeland. The temperature has dropped all the way to 85 degrees. I'm sorry. I wish you were here with us. Back to you in the studio.
Not
Do
even
we
sound
have
sincere.
to take that from him? I don't think so at all. We'll get back to him anyway. But there is much more ahead here at 5.
Here's Sean.
Potential big-time legal trouble tonight for former MSU head football coach Mark D'Antonio after a photo surfaces leading to those legal issues and possible NCAA violations. We're talking to a legal expert next about what it all means.
All right, Sean, also you won't believe it was seized at the Canadian border in Port Huron. What's inside this mason jar, officers definitely don't see every day.
But first, a Macomb County mother accused of a disturbing crime. The target, her daughter in a wheelchair.